Ready to take a deep dive into our forecast here across the Mahoning and Shenango Valleys of eastern Ohio and western Pennsylvania. Hey everyone, it's Weather for Weather Geeks, and we're gearing up for Halloween and the weekend. It was a washout today, that is for sure. Our dry slot worked in for a time this morning. It was a little bit faster, the arrival of that dry slot, than was modeled yesterday. It was kind of a reminder that this happens a lot with low-pressure systems passing through the region. It's a lesson that we have to keep in mind as we go into the winter season. A lot of times, dry slots end up coming in faster than modeled, and today was one of those examples. But nonetheless, once the dry slot worked through, the rain filled back in. It rained most of the afternoon into this evening, and at the Youngstown Warren Airport, our running total was 1.37 inches worth of rain. But of course, there's been some locally higher amounts. We have a rain gauge near the Latonia area, near the Mahoning-Columbiana County line. It's reading 2.17. Inch and a half or so, pretty common on a lot of our rain gauges locally, but some radar estimates show that, certainly the highest amounts I would say in our viewing area are in the western areas, out towards Sebring, Beloit, Alliance, down towards Minerva as well, kind of on the east side of Canton over towards Louisville. A lot of places have gotten 1.75 inches up to 2 inches worth of rain over the last 24 hours, and still kind of grim out there this evening with no more heavy rain, but some pesky, chilly showers in most locations here in the 7 o'clock hour. Not much is going to change over the next several hours, as the showers will stick around through the evening and into parts of the overnight. All in association with this low-pressure system, pretty easy to find on our water vapor. It's this swirl right here. This would be a very favorable storm track for heavy snow in the winter season in Detroit and Toledo and Columbus. The low jogged just far enough to the west that we would be, first of all, we would have gotten dry slotted for a time this morning. But I suspect if this were the exact track of a winter storm, we would also get too much warm air involved aloft to have pure snow. So the low ended up being a little bit farther west than would be ideal for a winter time scenario. But of course, no one's having snow out of this. It's all rain, and again, next several hours looking pretty soggy. High-res Futurecast will not show many changes as we head through the evening into the overnight. Now, as many head out the door tomorrow morning, it's going to be better than this morning's rush hour, that is for sure. Showers will be departing, and clouds should break for some sunshine. Now, it wasn't particularly windy today, but the winds are starting to pick up this evening. It'll be blustery overnight, and a blustery Halloween is on the way. No one's going to see a 50-mile-per-hour gust on Friday, but could you see a 30 to 35-mile-per-hour gust? Sure. And those outdoor Halloween decorations, could be blown around a little bit, and certainly anyone heading out for trick-or-treat early in the evening on Friday, that's when it'll be at its windiest. As we head towards sunset, the wind is going to start to diminish somewhat, but it's going to be a blustery afternoon. So we don't have this listed fear of wind on here, but I know some people do have a fear of wind. Other weather phobias that we sometimes talk about, especially at Halloween time. Do you have a fear of snow or a fear of cold? Stay tuned for my annual winter forecast coming up on November the 11th. I'll talk more about that in just a second. But, it's kind of fun to look at this list of some of the names of, phobias when it comes to the weather. Thermophobia, fear of heat. Don't know a whole lot of people who have a fear of heat. A lot of us don't like it when it gets too hot, but we're not necessarily scared of it. Well, the heat won't be a problem for high school football playoffs Friday evening. Temperatures will be in the 40s. It'll feel cooler because of the breeze, even though the wind will be diminishing. There could be a stray shower or a sprinkle, especially around and north of Interstate 80. We'll actually get into some sun for parts of the daylight hours on Friday. It's not going to be a bad day aside from the wind. But as we head towards evening, this will become a little bit of a lake effect or lake-enhanced regime. And, by about 7:30, a couple of showers are going to try to form off of Lake Erie. Best chance of getting wet, maybe in a place in northern Trumbull County up towards the Ashtabula line, northwestern Trumbull towards the Geauga line. The vast majority of the area should be rain-free, but again, it's a small chance of a passing shower. That lake effect regime will be around for parts of Friday night, early Saturday morning. It's not going to be much rain, but a couple of showers will be possible, especially in our northern communities. Saturday looks pretty ho-hum overall. Forecast for Sunday is a dry one officially. The model here is kind of insistent right now of bringing in a weak little low-pressure system so far north that it spreads some light rain into the area on Sunday. But this model is a little bit of a lone wolf on this idea. Most of our modeling does not have this idea, but it's something that I've got to keep an eye on this evening with updated runs of our short-range modeling. See if anybody else joins the chorus here in calling for some wet weather on Sunday. Right now, our forecast is mostly cloudy and dry. For Sunday, as we kick off November, it's going to be cool. A few degrees cooler than the average, 52 on Saturday and 53 on Sunday, but better days are ahead during the first half of next week. with high temperatures getting into the middle and maybe even upper 50s. But a week from today, we're going to be past peak in terms of our foliage. I even noticed it on my drive-in today. It was a rainy drive-in today, that's for sure. But looking at the trees, a lot of trees are getting stripped by the breezes and the raindrops today. That process, of course, will continue tonight and on Friday. And certainly in most of the region, we will be past peak a week from now in early November. All right, this weekend marks the return of Standard Time, the end of Daylight Saving Time at 2 a.m. on Sunday. The clocks will fall back an hour, and as always, we encourage people to take this opportunity twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall, to test your smoke alarms, your carbon monoxide detectors as well. Our sunrise at 6:55 Sunday morning. It would be nice to have a little more daylight in the morning hours. It's been, dark until almost 8 a.m. here in late October. But those early sunsets really start to hit hard in early November. So the overall picture in terms of the change from Saturday to Sunday. Saturday's sunrise at 7:54, pretty close to our latest sunrise of the year. We're around this neighborhood for a handful of days in January as well. Sunset Saturday evening in the 6 o'clock hour for the last time for months until March. Sunday evening, that sunset will be at 5:16 p.m. This is a topic that we sometimes talk about on social media. It gets a lot of engagement anytime we poll people. What do you prefer? The twice-a-year time change? Would you rather they leave the clocks alone? Would you have standard time year-round, daylight saving time year-round? This is a topic I just can't get all that fired up about. I really don't. Honestly, I just don't care that much. It's not that big of a deal to change the clocks twice a year. And, there's pluses and minuses on both sides of the ledger here. If we were to have standard time year-round, in the summer, it wouldn't be light out till almost 9. It'd be, light out till about 8 o'clock p.m. If we had year-round daylight saving time, well, the sunrise in the dead of winter would be almost at 9 a.m. That would be not great, even though the sunsets in the evening during the winter would not be as early. Those late sunrises would be not so great at all. So, changing them twice a year, especially in this digital age when, you got to change the clock on your microwave and things like that. But most of us, most of our devices, our watches, our clocks, our phones, our tablets, our computers, all these things change automatically. It's not a big chore necessarily to have to change the clocks. And if you don't work overnights, if you sleep during the night like most people do, you get maybe an extra hour's sleep at this time of the year, making up for that lost hour we have back in the spring. All right, just a reminder, my annual winter forecast is coming up in about a week and a half on November the 11th. We'll be focusing on temperature-wise, the months of December, January, and February. The snow forecast will be first flake to last flake, and that usually is about early November to maybe early to mid-April. One thing I'm focusing on, a little bit of a hint here as far as what I'm going to be talking about in terms of temperatures for the upcoming winter. This map shows the December temperature anomalies, just December, not the whole winter, just December. The temperature anomalies for a composite of past years that I think bear some resemblance to this year. Pretty cold-looking map, and I think I'm becoming more and more convinced that the winter will get off to a fast start. With cold in December, maybe not for the whole month, but a pretty cold stretch in December, maybe especially early in the month, is seeming to me to be more and more likely. And this has support on the analogs, as you see on this map, and also in the real-time model data that we have going out that far right now. There's things going on in the oceans that would be favorable for the jet stream to buckle in a way that would draw some colder air into the mainland U.S. to open meteorological winter in early December. This is going to be a key tenet, I think, of the winter forecast. Compared to the average, December might be the month that is the coldest compared to the average. May not be for the whole month staying cold. We've run the table with cold from the beginning of December to the end of December. Think of 1989, for example. There's been some Decembers that have been cold from start to finish. This year may not be one of them, but I'm becoming more and more convinced that at least the first half of December will be pretty darn cold and may come with some opportunities for some snow as well. So this winter season may begin with a bang, and we'll talk more about that coming up in about a week and a half. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Thursday evening. Have a great rest of your night, a great Friday, and a great weekend as well. I'll see you back here on Monday.